Hello, hello, hello. I see everybody joining. How exciting. We have a great day today to be able to show you through branding through events. And so we're going to talk about first some event ideas to be able to go through, how to schedule and plan those for the year to make sure that your year is filled with all kinds of very cool and branded different kinds of events that you might hold and how you might advertise them. And we've got a really great agent or team in New York who does monthly events that we'll be going over exactly what they do and what they've used and how they've used the Brivity platform to be able to help them maximize that kind of marketing and building that marketing in the first place. So we'll be going through a lot of things. Kevin's here with me as well, so if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to put it into the chat area, slide it right in there so that we can go through that together. I've got a great slideshow for you that we're going to get started on, but we'll also dive into the actual tools that were being used to create that kind of marketing. So I'm going to present my screen and get started. If anybody wants to put into the chat area of the webinar where your location is, that's really helpful for knowing, kind of like as I'm talking to you about different kinds of marketing strategies to use in your area. So load into that chat area where you're from and maybe even your role on your team, like I'm the team leader or I'm the marketing manager or whatever that is that you'd like to include there. So what we're going to go over today is branding through events. Sometimes I also call this kind of like an anti-marketing campaign, particularly if some of these events happen to be charitable events where you're not necessarily trying to promote yourself and it's through the event and helping other people that you're able to get your brand out and noticed by others. So as we all know that typically as you work through events or meeting people in the area or even through your website, oftentimes you get people in that become part of your world because they come in as a lead. And so sometimes events can happen where you end up meeting people because of that event, especially if we're doing neighborhood events or if we're doing charitable events, you might end up meeting people that end up becoming a lead. And as that life cycle continues, they of course become a client, a past client. We'd say that even after they're a past client, they become a sphere, and eventually they might become a lead again in that process as they're buying or selling and moving forward in life, and you get to know them better. So this is kind of like the hope process. A lot of the things we're talking about today for events are going to be centered around your client, past client events, and your spheres that you're working through. But even, a lot of times it starts with the lead and then converts into those relationships. When we talk about events, we want to help you plan out and schedule your events to help keep you, your brand, and your team top of mind for people. So we're going to talk about what that looks like to break out January all the way through the end of the year if you want to schedule those events and what that looks like. And even as we have a video coming up in a little while with an agent who's doing it in New York and a team that's doing it in New York, he's going to share how they do that kind of planning for the year. And why would you do events? Well, we want to do events because it gives us a reason to call people in our database, whether that's our sphere or our past clients or whoever we're inviting to be able to help join us or help us with those events. Of course, they help you give back to your friends, family, sphere, and even the community if you're helping to support the community in your events. And of course, it helps you get in front of your database, right? Rather than waiting for people to come to you, we want to be proactive to make sure we're top of mind all the time by getting in front of that database. Now, different kinds of events that we might have might be client events, they might be charitable events, holiday giveaways, online events, community outreach events, pop-bys, or even other people's events. And the way I say other people events is this is actually Ben Kenny's favorite. The number 7 is actually his favorite way to be able to help join in with events is when he finds out, when Ben Kinney, top real estate agent in the United States, if he finds out that there's somebody in the community that's having an event, he likes to jump on board and help sponsor that event in a big way. And by sponsoring that event in a big way, he's able to not have to run that event, not have to put it together, but he can still put his team into reaching out to their sphere, to their past clients and their database to be able to help make that event bigger without having to do all of the steps. So that's a really great way to be able to jump into events without necessarily taking too much of your time to do that. So keep in mind, keep a lookout in your community, and when you see other people, other organizations holding charitable events, and try to think of how can I help, or contact them and find out if you can help support their event and what would be the best way for you to support them. So I want to start talking about sphere events, because the sphere is near and dear to our hearts, particularly at this time of year, because this time of year we want to plan for the new year and what our sphere might need through that new year. And so we want to be able to make sure we're doing sphere events throughout the year that are keeping our sphere in our contact database, mindful of who we are and what we do. Different kinds of sphere events is we'd call past clients sphere. So you could do past client parties. You can hold happy hours and invite them to those happy hours. You can, of course, do pop-bys to their house and drop off gifts. A lot of times agents do this for past clients specifically, but you could also include in your top 100. And the top 100 is typically anybody in your sphere who might be likely to do business with you or give you a referral in the next year. Father's Day giveaways, Mother's Day giveaways, holiday contests, and honestly, there are way more events that you could do than this to hold for your sphere events. Charitable events. Charitable events are a great way of giving back to a community. And typically when I talk about the anti-marketing campaign, I'm talking about charitable events or community events that help your community in some way. Charitable events would include things like doing food banks or dry goods dry goods drives to try to collect dry goods for a food bank. When we do food bank drives or a dry goods drive for a shelter or something like that, we typically also make the main call to action for that money, because we know those organizations need money more than they need random items of food to be able to collect, because they can do more good with that money than they can actually do through just getting random items of food in. So we like to do a dry goods drive, and we want to make sure, because that's a great way for people to be able to give back, to collect truckloads of items to be able to give to that organization. But the money is really the big driver there. So when we make our calls to action for a food bank or doing some kind of dry goods drive, we actually say things to people like in our emails or on our scripts when we're calling them, that we do know that this organization needs money more than anything. And many of our people are donating as much as $100 or $300. Of course, we make up a number there. What can you do today to be able to help us? And so that's a really great, and they might say, all we can do is dry goods right now. We've got a pantry full of things that we can give away. And that's great. We want to make sure we're collecting those as well. When we did this, we actually made up, this is an event that we held last year. We actually made up a bunch of bags that we could give to people and leave at their house, because during COVID, we wanted to make sure that without that contact, they could just fill up the bag and leave it on their porch, and we could drive by their houses and pick up those bags for them. So that's a great way to be able to do that, leaving a bag, or even contacting local businesses who might want to also participate and giving them a stack of those bags to help them collect with that drive to their customers. So connecting with the local community in different ways or other businesses is going to be a big part of what we talk about today. Of course, homeless shelters, women's shelters, family shelters, anything that you're doing along those lines is really helpful. Thinking about doing a coat drive. I know many teams do a coat drive every year or a toy drive around Christmas time. Those are great drives to be able to hold, or adopting a family. Krispy Kreme does a lot of really great donut fundraisers. I'm from South Carolina, and Krispy Kreme is near and dear to my heart because they're from North Carolina. And that is a great way to be able to do a fundraiser that people love to buy, and they give you a portion of the proceeds to whatever organization you'd like to give it to. Animal shelters, local rescue groups, anything like that, being able to collect or drop off supplies or food, any sort of leashes, anything that animal shelters might need or rescue groups might need for their organizations. Again, keeping in mind that these people need money more than anything. So keeping that part of your scripting when you're calling people. Helping local families in need, adopting families at Christmas time or even other times of the year. You might find that in your community, someone has experienced something very tragic, or a family might have experienced something horrible, an event in their lives, and you might adopt them for the month to be able to take over whatever it is for your charitable campaign for that month to help them. And book drives for kiddos. That's a really great way to be able to help the community. Even setting up in the idea of book drives, there are lots of neighborhoods in our area that I know do this. You might want to do it in your area, is you can build these great little libraries for neighborhoods that are just like, they're like birdhouses, you know what I mean, but bigger. And you can store those with books to allow people to take books or leave a book. And that's a great way that you could brand the side of those containers for those neighborhoods and donate them to the neighborhoods. Of course, you'd want to check with the neighborhood on where you could place that and if you could do it. There are also holiday giveaways. In holiday giveaways, a lot of our teams will do pumpkins that they give away to past clients. It's a great way to connect with your past clients or with your sphere, where you can call them and ask them if they'd like to pick up a pumpkin, or you can drop one off at their house for them. So if they don't have time, you want to make sure you include in some time for drop-offs within your planning. Typically, when we do drop-offs or pop-bys or giveaways, any of these kinds of things, we try to make sure that on our calendars, our agents have one whole day blocked off specifically for doing those drop-offs, so that they have time to be able to go out and meet people at their houses and give them whatever it is. There is a great idea in doing a faux holiday tree giveaway. You can allow people to enter in to get a faux holiday tree with the decorations and supplies that they would need for making their Christmas holiday great for a family in need. And by advertising that, say through social media, through your email database, you can have people volunteer somebody in their community that they believe would be best to be able to receive this, or if they want to enter themselves to win the tree. This year, when we gave away a faux holiday tree last year, Christmas, just a month ago, the person who actually won it asked if he could donate it to the local women's shelter for a family in need, because the local women's shelter here actually does families as well. So that's a great idea. And I loved that they gave that back after winning it to a local charity. This is an awesome idea for your friends, family, and sphere. Doing a New Year's bottle of champagne and 2 glasses giveaway is a awesome idea. I feel like that is a great thing to be able to give out, and it could be alcoholic or non-alcoholic, of course, depending on that person's choice, or maybe 1 bottle of each and 2 glasses, right? So that's a great way to be able to do a cool giveaway for the year. Easter baskets at Easter time. A lot of teams do bunny photos, or even like Santa Claus photos at Santa Claus time, Christmas time. Flags for the 4th of July is a great one for a community where you ask them in a neighborhood that you're targeting, or a farmed neighborhood, to give away flags on the 4th of July, and asking people to display that in their windows. You might even do that for Veterans Day, alternatively, or some other time of the year that would be appropriate, Memorial Day, that kind of thing. Added here is that we make our open houses available to people as well for doing any kinds of pickups or drop-offs of things. whether it's a charitable giveaway or it's picking up a pumpkin or pies. So our agents might, have those on hand, or let people know, let me know before you come that I could have a pumpkin ready to give away to you if you want to stop by my open house later today. So we'll include a list of open houses that we'll be having for the next week or 2 weeks that we're holding this event and doing these pickups or drop-offs. Community outreach events. These are a lot of events. So you're going to pick and choose the things that you really want to do to your area. Now, I didn't give a list here. This is more of an idea of doing either like a neighborhood cleanup if you find one in your area that you'd like to do, or you can say even hold a large neighborhood garage sale and invite all the neighbors to help participate with you. In that case, if you're doing neighborhood pickup, neighborhood cleanup, or garage sales, we would suggest that this is kind of an idea, I guess, specifically for neighborhood cleanup. If you're taking your team and say you're all wearing the same colored shirts and you're advertising and branding your team while you're out there, and you're asking people in the community if they need help with their house, particularly if you're in an area or your target neighborhoods might be retirement communities. Those people might not need a lot of help, or even in poorer communities where they need a lot of cleanup or help. Reaching out to them ahead of time by postcard and letting them know that you have this event. With our tools at Brivity, you can even include in, if they'd like help, that they could text in a code to 59559, and that will allow them to fill out a form telling you of their needs for their house or supplies or what they need, so that you can have an idea ahead of time of how to help support them best. Now, some teams, when they do this, will show up for a neighborhood cleanup with like a wood chipper hauled behind that you can rent from a local hardware store, or other tools for cleanup, like a trailer to be able to put in debris. Or I actually saw where the Peggy Hill team during COVID sent large dumpsters to specific neighborhoods within their community that allowed that community to be able to fill that dumpster, and she could haul it away. A lot of people were doing a heavy cleanup in their houses during that time period that COVID just started. And you might find that you have communities in your area that could use that as well now. Now, the idea, getting all your team to wear similar shirts, making sure that your postcards that you're sending out has good branding, or flyers that you might be doing drop-offs. If you're doing a knock on the door a week before to let people know or remind them if they didn't receive the postcard, then you can let them know, of course, that what you're doing and how you can best help them and how they can register for help. Of course, when you're there door knocking, asking if there's anything that they might need help with, or if they think of anything, then they can follow this call to action to be able to let you know that they need these things. Now, of course, I think it's a great idea to also send a final postcard before the event. So planning out, the postal system has actually changed their deliverability to take up to 4 to 6 days for delivery on postcards. So be mindful of your time frame when you're sending these out. I'd send postcards, if I was sending them initially, probably 3 to 4 weeks ahead of time, because it might take up to 10 days to get to them if the postal system is really delayed. And then if we're doing the 3 days before, maybe 2 weeks ahead of time, actually sending that before the event so that it gets there 3 or more days right before the event. And of course, you want to show up and make it happen for those people, right? Now, pop-by giveaways. Pop-by giveaways are a great way to be able to engage with your past clients or sphere. And of course, if you get a chance to be able to see them, meet with them, find out if they have any real estate related needs for the year, or do they know anybody. So this is a great way to be able to leave a great gift. I love it too. I pulled some off of, these are on Pinterest. And I love the little calls to action and things that they had on these little gifts that they gave away for their pop-by events. So scented candles, scented hand soaps, people love those kinds of things. Hot cocoa mix is great in the winter time. A pumpkin, right? We've already talked about that and some of the other options. seasonal flowers, candy corn or Easter eggs that are candy, right? You don't want to leave actual eggs on somebody's doorstep. And of course, you want to make sure that you're showing up, doing these things, planning them. If you don't put them on your calendar, then they might not be able to get those things. And here I actually have a quick Pinterest link that I can share with you guys if you want some other ideas. So here's that Pinterest link I will share with you. Those are some other real estate agents that have made different plans and ideas previously. Okay, now I know I might say the word favorite a few times, but I love including the community on doing events. Business promotions. Business promotions is huge. The agent who's going to be talking in a little bit is going to take you through how they've helped promote businesses, particularly during COVID, for businesses that have been affected by COVID. And so this is an amazing idea. You can pick a business per month if you wanted to promote, or say quarterly, pick a business to be able to promote. You can write blogs on those businesses, sending people to a link for a call to action. You could have a giveaway with a gift card included, so people can register to win a gift card at this local restaurant or at this local store to help support them. You can send postcards for those businesses. And so while sending those postcards, your call to action would be something like register here to win, and that could take them to a form that lets them fill out. And remember to include in these forms questions like, do you have real estate related needs coming up in the next 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months? 1 to 2 years, so that they can identify and raise their hand as a possible need for real estate in the future. And then you can tag them in your database with when they plan to move, so that you can make sure you're staying on top of that a few months ahead of time. Postcards for businesses, if they have announcements that they want to share, sometimes that's a really great idea. Our systems have cool postcards that you can really brand or make for anything in Brivity. And we'll take you over to see how some of those postcards look shortly. But you can easily create them in seconds to be able to promote and hit a button, and we ship it for you, send it out. The lowest cost for those postcards is, I think it's 63 cents per postcard. We'll take a look when we're in that system. But I believe it's 63 cents per postcard. So it's really affordable to be able to do and see those go out. Now, social media. You might not think of social media as a way to make an event, but you can make events online on social media. Those could be photo contest giveaways where you're asking somebody to submit things like, caption this or post a photo of your yard for the yard of the month. Guess the price is a great one on a new listing. If you have a brand new listing, even if you're in a market where you're not allowed to share that listing until it's in the MLS, in this case, what I would do is post just a photo of the main image of the house and say, hey, we just posted this new listing. And don't give away the address or any information. Guess how much, or you could give away maybe the town that it's in. Guess how much it's listed for this giveaway. Win $50 gift card. So if people can guess the price of that, it's just simply a photo. As soon as you've added it to your MLS, posted onto your business page or on your personal page, and telling people that you'll give them $50 for guessing the price. Of course, whenever you do any kind of posting for contests or events on social media, you want to make sure that you include in clear rules on how they win. There is a team that I've seen online before who's posted a win a trip of a lifetime. Now that's a big event that they can run and make posts and posts and posts for on both Facebook or Instagram and Twitter over and over again as they're going through, say, a couple of months period where people are registering to win this trip of a lifetime. So that's a great event, but it's a little more expensive than some of the other ones. So you have to think about your budgeting, obviously. So that would be kind of a multi-day event where it's not like, or even multi-week or multi-month event So you have to kind of think and plan out when you want to start posting, how frequently you want to post to attract people to that. And we're going to talk some about doing partnering with other businesses in the community to help promote those as well. So this is an example of a guess the price listing, and it's where somebody just posted a picture of the main image of the house. I love that they actually put it into a social media graphic that includes information about their business, their logo, a hashtag, right? Like there's a lot of really cool things here that she's included to help make this giveaway really work for her. And in this case, you can see she got 24 comments so far. And I don't remember exactly when I took this screenshot, if it was same day or when. But she said, guess the price for a chance to win Dunkin' Donuts gift card. No agents or brokers, please. Coming soon. So hers in this case was a coming soon, but of course you could do the same thing if you just listed today, as long as you're not including specific details on that property that they might find online. So I might not include things about the square footage or baths, or you might want to include some basic things like just the beds and baths in it. Has a pool, right? Social media events are great because they only take a few seconds to be able to create versus trying to plan an in-person event and calling to invite people to that event and sending postcards to invite people to those events. It's a great way to be able to get notice to your brand and even request to share this post online helps people to share those things online. Obviously the listing price guess takes like 30 seconds to post over, maybe a little bit longer, but I'm going to show you a tool that we have within Brivity that helps you to make those, if you want to include it like the other agent did, within a little window with your brand showing on it. Caption this contest is great, really easy to do. Yard of the month is easy, right? Grand prize giveaways take minutes to post, but things like, win a trip of a lifetime might be months of doing post after post after post, right? Like the multi-day events, it takes seconds per day to repost something new or something different to share out to your world and remind them of your upcoming event. Then how do we plan these events? Well, I suggest a spreadsheet, just an easy spreadsheet. In that spreadsheet, you might want to say every month we want to do a charitable event, a cleanup event, and a Facebook event. And so these are all January, right? And then who's the target? In that case, it might be XYZ neighborhood, the Elmwood Park neighborhood. Or the target might be kids at a particular business or as a box in that neighborhood that you're posting. Who's the benefactor overall that you're going to be giving the check to in the end if there's a check involved, right? So you're going to think about who these are, or if we're giving food away to a local organization, who is that benefactor? So I like to make a nice spreadsheet of these things for planning for the whole year as you want to, and you might want to leave some spaces blank within your months to be able to take on things that happen within that community in that month. Sometimes there are bigger events that happen, whether that's a catastrophe in your area, natural events that you might need your team to jump, pivot, and move over to help out with that event in particular. Now, this is where I'm actually going to take you through seeing a team go through exactly what they do using the Brivity platform and how they market, advertise, the website tools that they use, the postcard tools that they use, and all of that right here. So I'm actually going to take out my earbuds. So hopefully, give me 1 second. Okay. So, and maybe you guys can let me know if you can see. Hey, Richard, Lauren, thank you so much for joining me today. And Richard McCarran has the McCarran team in New York. Tell us a little bit about your team and your brand.
Well, thank you, Donna. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today. It's always good to talk to you and share ideas. So our team is located in Syracuse, New York, about 4 hours north of New York City. I'm joined today by my operations manager and the real brains of the operation, Lauren Oram. We have 5 sales agents and 2 other administrative staff as well. And we do about 225 to 250 units a year.
Wow, that's great. That's great. What's your goal this year? Just out of curiosity.
So we have a pretty ambitious goal this year. Lauren's smiling because she knows we got some work cut out for us, but we intend to sell 300 units this year.
Fantastic.
Hey,
sorry. Richard, Lauren.
Month, depending on what month it is. So like this past November, we were able to donate 18 full Thanksgiving meals to families in need. We adopted families at Christmas. We do ice cream socials over the summer for particular neighborhoods that we might be farming or marketing. We do a big client appreciation event every year where we invite about 1,000 people.
Wow.
Gratefully, only a couple hundred show up because it could be really costly otherwise.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, but we do a lot of work with a veterans organization here called Clear Path for Veterans. And, we look for something that's important to members of the team in order to give back a little bit of what we're making. And obviously, that's where Brivity comes into play on how we get the word out about these events.
So when you're looking at the next year, do you plan a year in advance for like every month and what you intend to do those months? What does that look like for planning?
I would love to say that I'm that organized. Lauren is. Lauren's nodding her head going, yes, thank you. This is what we should be doing. So we have certain events we know we're going to do every month. Obviously, the Thanksgiving meals in November. December will be the Christmas stuff. We do an event every year in June for Flag Day. And that is something simple where we'll send postcards out to our neighborhood. Hey, on Monday, June 14th, Flag Day, or whatever day it falls on, we're going to be in your neighborhood. We're going to hand out flags, little 4-inch flags. We ask that you display the flag in your window. And for every flag that we give out, we're not asking for a donation, but for every flag we give away, we make a $5 donation to this organization called Clear Path for Veterans. So our goal every year is to give away either 1,000, 500 to whatever we can get to flags. And again, it's advantageous for us because we target certain communities that we want to be doing work in, but we also want to get the word out to the community that we are giving back. So some months have specific events, but other months are fluid, and we do that on purpose.
Okay, that's great. And keeping things open in case something comes up or a natural disaster. And
great examples. One of our agents at one point, his wife was diagnosed with breast cancer, so we really wanted to focus some of our time and attention to breast cancer activities. We had another agent whose wife worked in the neonatal intensive care unit, so we did some work raising money for a foundation there. So we really like to keep it close to what's important to our team members or to past clients.
Okay, wow, that's fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and share kind of what your website looks like and go over some of those events and how you build them. But Lauren, if you could kind of take me through, like when you guys host events, like how do you get the word out about those events? This is your website here.
Yeah, definitely. So depending on the event, sometimes we will make a specific website page for the event. And Brivity has an excellent website designer. So it's pretty simple as long as you have just some basic knowledge about how to design a web page. And a lot of times when we make the web pages, it's because there's something important on there. There's either a way to collect leads in some way or just to use it for circulation in our ads. But I will just come right in here and it's simple enough. I can go on the website designer and create a page. So of course we will make a website page. We will do email marketing, which some of those we will use through Brivity, sending out emails and the automated text messages, depending on what the event is, if that's necessary. Like I said, we send postcards. Brivity Marketer makes that super easy as well. A lot of times I'll even use the forced registration link ability to be able to capture leads throughout some of the events we do as well. Okay. And sometimes, like Rich mentioned, our client appreciation event, I have found that sometimes it's very helpful to use that, even if you're not trying to collect leads, but you're trying to stay up to date with your client's information and get their records updated and things like that. So like at our client appreciation event, we'll have a little station set up, or when people sign in to the event, when they show up, we will collect their info, make sure their address is still updated correctly, make sure their email's correct, things like that. So
that's great.
Very helpful. And sometimes we'll even do ads, social media ads about the events. I work with Amy to help us on some of our ad generation and our lead gen. So she's been very helpful in that. And of course, we use the Quickly for like what you have here. So that's another Brivity feature.
Great. So quickly, where we can text something to 51559.
Yeah, and this was a great feature for us during COVID. So as we started to come out of COVID, we really wanted to step up for one of the industries that were hurt the most, and it was the restaurant industry. And one thing our team likes is good eat and good drink. So we really felt we should be supporters of our local restaurants. So what we did was we actually worked with you on this, Donna, and some other people at Brivity. We were able to create a Quickly word, and it was text eat to our Quickly number. They would get a pop-up form in Brivity to fill out, and then it would automatically be entered to win a $100 gift card for whatever restaurant we were showcasing that week. And
That's
it worked
great.
out. The feedback was phenomenal from the restaurant industry, from just local people. One of the news stations actually commented on it. They did a segment on the restaurant industries. So it worked out very well for us. And Brivity was key because we collected all the data, and people had to enter their name, phone number, email address. So then they're automatically in our database for very soft future marketing.
Okay, so you did have like an auto plan in Brivity following up with them after texting in.
Right. Very, not an in-your-face 10 days of pain, a very generic, just keeping us to the top of people's mind real estate-wise. It was a once-a-month drip campaign.
That's fantastic. And I love that you incorporated video. It looks like you had it professionally done. Is that right?
Actually, we did it in-house.
You did? Okay, great. Somebody did it on like their iPhone?
So a regular camera, I bought wireless mics just to make the sound a little better. So
you can do this pretty affordably with just a regular camera. I can see the mic kind of attached to your
exactly
your
the most expensive part of it. Yeah, the most expensive part was the gift card. I mean, I'm lucky. I have very talented people. Lauren is phenomenal. She can do all the tech stuff, and you could see like a lot of the restaurants put it on their sites as well. That's the restaurant owner there, and he put it on his site in addition to ours. Here's Kitty Hoynes, another restaurant we did. So it worked out very well for us.
So they were cross promoting your events to win their gift card.
Yeah, which was fantastic because some of these places have a lot more followers than we do. Kitty Hoynes especially is like one of the main pubs in the restaurant area of the city of Syracuse. So that's the owner, David Hoynes, and he was phenomenal, actually put us in touch with some other restaurants. And that's one thing that amazed me is like the restaurant owners gave us names of other restaurants who they knew were hurting. So just that unity and fraternity during this tough time, it was inspiring. It made us keep doing it.
Wow. So you were doing the gift card giveaway monthly, or how frequently?
So yeah, we did it once a month, only because the video production, tracking people down, getting everything done took some time. And we wanted to do a full week for people to send their information in. And, we paid for advertising online for it as well. So.
Right. So you guys do a lot on Facebook, Instagram. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Lauren. That's your bread and butter.
Yeah, we are really heavy on social media. I mean, obviously, you've seen some of the events that we do. We do a lot of giveaways as well. We do contests. We are very active on social media, and I would say a very solid portion of our leads come from things that we've put out on social. So
that's great. And then going back to like some of these pages that you've created on your website for different events now, you have these hidden on your website right now. Are these typically like when you're holding that promotion, would it be available here for people to find or as a call to action across the main area? Okay.
Yes, 100%.
So then afterward, I was able to pull them up because I went into the back end of your builder and looked for them and pulled them up. But otherwise, when those are done, you just have the page shut down and it's still sitting there.
Yeah. And
right. Till next time.
Yeah.
And now when you build these look really well made, really professionally made. Are you using our designers at Brivity to help you build these, or you're building them on your own?
So sometimes I do need to reach out for a little bit of help. But I feel that, and I am, like Rich said, I am techie. I do have a background in website design and a very, very brief background in coding. So a lot of this I get done on my own, but I feel that the website designer is very straightforward, easy to use, even for someone who doesn't really have any background in that whatsoever. The way that everything's designed in like blocks makes it so helpful. So I very much love that feature of Brivity because I can pretty much add anything that I want to our website. And anytime there's something I don't think that I could do on my own, I just reach out to, usually poor Emily always gets bombarded with all my requests, but she's awesome and the team is always there to help me get together whatever it is that I'm looking for. So really appreciate
one feature that I really like is the short URLs basically that you can automatically have created.
Yes.
So like, here you've just got your website /mom, right?
I love that. I love that.
And that's it.
And we'll use that too, even not for events, but we'll use the redirect feature. Sometimes when you want to share a listing, you get that long, ugly link, but you plug it into the redirect and you can say /123 Main Street. And then people can easily get to that link.
Or like / waterfront, right? All the waterfront homes in an area. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And then the back end of your Quickly tool, that's your Brivity tool that's for texting, you guys have your options for any custom keywords that you want people to text into 59559. And you can, every time that you have a new event, you can just change the URL here, hit update, and now they're going to that page when they text this code. Yeah. So that's a really cool feature to be able to use or change at will whenever you want to start up a new event. So that's super fantastic. And then in your database here, I filtered by all your Quickly leads. And so I can see a lot of these leads coming in as just cell phone numbers as they came in. And they've got, something attached to them, right? Mm-hmm. And I can see any sort of plans or anything that you might have had previously applied. Let's kind of check really quickly.
I almost feel like I'm getting birthday on it. I'm going to be sick.
Yeah, 442 leads, and that doesn't include anybody that might have been trashed or might have asked to be taken out of the database. Like these are the legit leads that came in through your database, because people can't fake their cell phone number when they text in, right?
Right. You got them that way.
Yeah, well, this is phenomenal, and I really appreciate you taking us through. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know, Rich, I think that you're off to a listing appointment, so we want to make sure you get there in time. But I really appreciate the way that you're using your branding for print and social and cross promotions with other business owners to be able to get your brand out there through events. Thank you for your time today.
No, we appreciate the opportunity to be here, and we look forward to continue using Brivity to hit our 300 this year.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Awesome. Okay, well, you guys have a great day. Bye.
Thanks. Take care.
Well, I hope that shares a lot about the Brivity platform and ways that you can use either your Brivity website to help promote. Those leads come directly into your database. You could also use the Quickly system that allows people to text to whatever thing at 592, they text it to 59559. You can find out more about Quickly at kwkly.com. That is that system. It plugs directly into your platform and comes with many of these different platforms here. And it's a great way to be able to promote. Even if you were a light user, you could add it on to your platform. So you can see that it's on the 5 users and up platform automatically, but you could certainly add it on to your platform. We want to make sure that you learn about all these tools, and there are even more tools that we haven't talked about today, because it is a platform that is meant to host your entire business and all of its needs, whether that's marketing, whether it's your website, different tools to attract leads. We want to make sure that you have everything in Brivity that you could possibly need. You can text platform to 59559, and you'll see how that Quickly feature works immediately. And you can sign up for a demo through that by texting that in. So that's a great way to be able to see and find out how the Brivity system works, set up a demonstration, and we'll take you through all of our tools so that you can see how you can also host great events throughout the year to brand your business. Anybody have any questions that we can share with you? Awesome. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us today, and let us know, of course, if you have any questions, please text platform to 59559 to set up a demonstration. You can also go schedule at brivity.com if you'd like to schedule at brivity.com. We hope that this information was great and that you all received the slides afterwards and that you start your planning immediately for your Brivity needs.